It's Sarah on BBC Radio Sheffield this lunchtime, and this time of year, as we were saying, you might start to think about new hobbies. You might start about think about trying new things that you've not done before or you've always wanted to do. What about taking up dancing? Well, Dancing for Health is a local Sheffield non-profit organisation. They're starting new classes this month, specifically aimed at people affected by stroke. I've got 3 people in the studio with me this lunchtime who are all involved with this. Tracy Barnes, who's leading the classes, supported by Kate Allett and Yolanda Bosman, who are also with me. Tracy, can I start with you then? Just tell us a little bit about Dancing for Health and the idea behind it.
Okay, Dancing for Health is a non-for-profit organisation, and we use dance to help people with long-term health conditions, the elderly and the disabled. So we have several classes across the city already where people can access, but we also do specialised classes. So we've got groups for people that's been affected by cancer. We've had people with Parkinson's, and it was kind of the success of those groups and how the groups have really bonded and supported one another. We've decided to do one for stroke clients specifically. It
sounds wonderful. When you say dancing, I mean, we're not talking kind of Strictly level here, are we? We're talking, I suppose, about getting people moving and active, aren't we?
We have seated sessions, so we do dancing sat down, so that makes it completely accessible for everybody, whether people are in wheelchairs or they walk with sticks or frames. But even having said that, we have clients that walk with frames that come to our partner dance sessions. So we do partner dance sessions as well. And we're hoping just to have a look at different sorts of the dancing, the seated dancing and perhaps the partner dancing for this brand new stroke project that we're doing.
And with the stroke project, will there be anything different about that? What will sort of mark that out in terms of the sorts of things that people will be doing? Will it be different to other courses?
It's totally different. The project's been funded through the Postcode lottery. And so the project is provided free for the participants. And what I wanted to do was, I myself have a heart condition, and I have a higher risk of being affected by stroke. And via my friend Yolanda, I came across Kate's book, and her story was incredibly inspirational. And I've already had stroke clients that have come to my classes and had great results from doing our sessions. And it was in one lady in particular who was really struggling after her stroke, and I told her about Kate's book, and that really helped her have that inspiration to carry on. And I think it was that looking. What I wanted to do was to create a project that looked at the whole wellbeing of clients. So to look for physical health, nutrition health, and the peer support and the inspiration that Kate can provide as well.
Well, let's bring in Kate, because people might have heard Kate Allett talking before about her story, but it's very difficult, I know, to be brief about this, but just briefly tell me your story and what happened to you.
It was Paulette on this programme nearly 15 years ago, who, 3 days before my stroke, I was on trying to do a charity, raise money and awareness. Anyway, I had the stroke 3 days later, a massive brainstem stroke. I then came on and spent 10 months in hospital and came to see Roni. And that interview with Roni, cut with the original voice before my stroke, was syndicated all around the world. And it was really BBC Radio Sheffield that launched my career. I've had another career in global stroke advocacy, peer mentoring, I've written books, I've TEDx, I've done all those things. But I have to say, in regards to this project, if it's like come full circle for me, to come back and do something in Sheffield is amazing. To treat people holistically, from the coordination to the physical activity, to the connections, to the companionship, the friendship that this project offers people who are lonely after stroke, who feel isolated, and have conversations in a safe environment where you can't with other peers. It's so powerful. I've been doing peer mentoring for years. I know how powerful it is. And to help people be their best versions is really why I'm so excited about being involved in this project. It's about signposting, it's about friendship, it's about community, it's about exercise, it's about treating people holistically, humans, and being involved.
What does that peer mentoring involve? What kind of things are you trying to sort of tap into with people?
Well, we're having a safe conversation. So I could talk to somebody who's had a stroke about things that I couldn't talk to a normal, inverted commas, person about, whether that's from diet, nutrition, to the exercises they could do to try and improve their stiffness, their independence, or to things like relationship counselling or discussions, coaching on how to improve relationships. Good example for that, I did a whole load of training for the universities and all sorts of organisations on how to have conversations about sexuality. And sexuality means relationships, because I'll leave this with you. When one person who had a stroke said to me that her husband said it was like having sex with a dead body after stroke, I realised I needed to inform clinicians to have better conversations. Those conversations I can have with in a safe space at this group, for example.
And it does sound absolutely wonderful what you're doing. And as you say, it's having those conversations with somebody who really understands where you're coming from. And you, because you actually experienced locked-in syndrome, didn't you?
Oh, it was the worst stroke you can have. Yeah. I could think, feel, see, hear, understand everything, but move nothing below my eyelids. It's like being buried alive. And I will just say that if we don't mention that this group is on Facebook, and come and find us, because it's really important that you come and join and know it's a safe space in Sheffield. And I want to say that to people. But yeah, in terms of my stroke, I've been there and got the T-shirt, so I can really, really empathise with people who had stroke.
I want to bring in Yolanda now. Hello. Tell me a little bit about your role in all of this.
Well, there's various pillars of health: exercise, the emotional, psychological side, and then there's also the food side of things. And I'm an ambassador. I've been an ambassador for public health collaboration for about a year now. And as part of that, I've been into doctor surgeries where I've delivered, for instance, an 8-week course to purely diabetics. It's all based on the work of Dr. David Unwin, who's a doctor at Norwood Surgery in Southport. And it's based on his work. He was the NHS Innovator of the Year 2016. So it's looking at lifestyle choices, low carb, that sort of thing. Healthy food choices, which obviously at this time of year
it's hard,
we've suddenly become a bit more conscious of maybe what we'll be doing over Christmas time. And it's applicable to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're living with an illness or not. This kind of thing is applicable to all of us. And as part of PHC, they actually look at lifestyle choices. Going into schools, they look at food addiction, because some of us obviously are more inclined to drink more, eat more carbs, whatever. So it's about helping people to make different choices, looking at alternatives, I've got my 52 ping pong balls here. I use this as a sort of an idea that you can take one of the ideas out, look at the corresponding idea for a healthy lifestyle choice, food-wise, and if you don't like it, you put it back in the box and you look for something else. Because the whole idea is finding something that suits you as an individual.
So it's not prescriptive, it's because that can really put people off, can't it, when someone's saying to you, you must do this.
Oh, no, and it's not about counting calories. If somebody says to me, you can only have 1,200 calories, I say, no, I just yes. reject it. But say to me, you can eat this or this, then you go, you choose what's right for you as an individual. So this is an important part of being healthy.
And in terms of how this sort of all fits in, I mean, obviously we were talking specifically about stroke. Are there particular kind of lifestyle choices that you would make if you've experienced a stroke?
To be honest with you, it's applicable to everybody. Choosing healthy food, whole foods that are going to help you heal, no matter where you're at, what illness you're dealing with.
No,
go on.
You know, gut health is something that I've prioritised for the last 4 years, and it's frankly changed my life when doctors wanted to give me drugs to deal with problems of the legacy of my illness that I still live with, that you can't see. But actually my lifestyle and having whole food and having fermented food and prioritising my gut health has changed so much of my life. And that's something I really want to impart and work with Yolanda on this project, because together, you know, with my experience and that credibility and that peer mentoring side, will really encourage people to think again about their healthy food choices.
The food, a lot of people don't realise how much sugar is in food. So if you eat bread, people don't think of that as being sugar, but when it is converted by your body, it just becomes sugar.
And we've lost a lot of those techniques as well, haven't we, of making things for ourselves.
Yes, totally.
You know, bread is actually quite an easy thing to make, but with busy lifestyles, we just don't always get around to doing it, do we?
If you do want to eat bread, then there's maybe some breads that are better than others. So it's about making those differences. Because, for instance, a typical English breakfast is about 22 teaspoons of sugar once it's so if you think about it, your body at one particular time only needs 1 teaspoon of sugar to operate. So your body then has to cope with packing that away.
Yeah, I try to think how much sugar my body's had to deal with over the Christmas period. There's so much we could talk about. We're going to have to get you back on, I think, to explore some of these things individually in the future. But Tracy, just tell us a little bit more about how people sort of sign up and get involved with this Stepping Forward, this project to support people affected by stroke.
They can find some information on the Dancing for Health website. So that's dancingforhealth.org.uk. The information is on there about the project, but it's going to be down at the Salvation Army venue on Salter Lane. It's going to be on a Tuesday afternoon at 1:30 for an hour and a half, and we're hoping to do a variety of all the things that we've talked about today. So a little bit of dancing, so a bit of movement to music, however much they can do. We'll base that around their levels, but we're also wanting to let them bring in their carers or a family member or a friend. So it's open to that, and the course is provided free.
It's anyone affected by stroke. It's really important the carers come along. But I do urge you to have a look at the Facebook site, and for the people who do join, there will be a WhatsApp group, which is going to be a great community for people to share.
What would you say, I mean, someone who's been through stroke yourself, what would you say to anybody who perhaps thinks, going along to groups, it's not really my thing, it's not what I want to do? What would you say to encourage people?
I have to say, you can't eat an elephant in one go. It's bite-sized chunks. At the end of the day, we've all got to step out of our comfort zone. I've done it. I've started stand-up paddleboarding this year. Who knew? And that was the most scariest thing ever. But I tried it. And I don't put too much pressure on myself. I did it and tried it. If I didn't like it, I'd not go again. But you've got to be in it to win it.
Well, thank you all of you for coming in. It sounds amazing what you're doing. So it's the Salvation Army Citadel, Salter Lane in Sheffield, every Tuesday, 1:30.
It's called the Stepping Forward Project.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much for coming in, and a very happy New Year to all of you.
Thank you very much.